thank you very much for having me and for talking about the courthouse. As you know, the current courthouse is 84 years old. It was built in 1931. It was built without women's restrooms. It was built to be segregated. We are still using that building, and although we did put central air in it and some new offices, I'm sorry, did I?
Sorry, we were just opining that we don't have women's restrooms.
Yeah, the joke
here.
is we went to unisex
We
restrooms,
went to unisex
so we're back
restrooms,
there.
so
Yeah, there's no
we're
women's
right back
restrooms.
Oh,
Right.
sure.
Changing times. Thank you, Ms. Van Cleve. Please
The
continue.
courthouse is also not ADA compliant. This is a county constitutionally mandated project. This is not actually a city project, nor is it a city building. We are planning the Commissioner's Court, Sarah Eckhart et al., Doherty, who also supports it, have been working to plan this project since 2009. I would ask that you take a look at the Travis County Master Plan on site placement. They have done extensive charrettes in a variety of communities around this county. And what we get over and over again from people like Julie Spann, who's the executive director of Safe Place, is her constituents, her clients, need a centrally located facility that can be reached by public transit. I'm not sure of what the cost would be to the taxpayer to completely reroute municipal and county bus services to Walter E. Long Lake, but I sure would like to know that as a taxpayer before I decided to move the courthouse, where it was actually harder to get to than almost anywhere else in the county. Walter E. Long Park, by the way, has 37 goes to Walter E. Long Park, and according to Cap Metro, it takes about an hour to get from here to downtown, or from Walter E. Long to downtown. We have kids sitting in that courthouse, unattended, that need our help. I strongly recommend that you take a tour of the courthouse. The need is there, and it has been there for a very long time. The county has worked very hard. Many of you may not have been in office for the duration of this project, but this is a well-considered county project with support from Republicans and Democrats, Doherty and Ron Davis. I would encourage city folks that have questions about this project of a fellow governmental entity to reach out to them and maybe hear some about that Travis County Master Plan and why we didn't go to the middle of nowhere to do the people's business. I strongly encourage you not to vote to move the courthouse or actually have the city be involved in the placement of a county building. It belies, in my mind, common sense. And economic development, in my mind, is not locating a building with a place to put incarcerated people and a place where families are broken up and foster kids and children are taken care of. That is not economic development. That is not a symbol for East Austin. What is a symbol for East Austin and real economic development, in my mind, would be light manufacturing, locally owned businesses, places where people can work and grow. When you go into the courthouse, something has gone wrong, and it needs to be located centrally so it's close to not only transportation but the other courts. The central docket system, by the way, that the reason that we are so productive at the court system in the county is because we have a central docket system. That central docket system will not, frankly, work if the campus is broken up. And if you're trying to get on that bus and trying to get your protective order and you're going to Walter E. Long Lake, I'm not sure you're being served well by the city or the county to do it that way. And I'm not sure that this resolution has been thought through. And certainly when you talk to any county commissioner, I'm not sure they've heard from maybe some of the members that are here today. And I would encourage them to reach out and hear the presentation. We'd be happy to do the presentation. Belinda Powell has been working on this plan She's worked at the county for 15 years. She knows where everybody is buried. And she would be happy to come and do a presentation about why the site was selected as it was selected, what the process they went through, how much public input they received, and what the point of this, putting this in an area where the people's business belongs centrally. It doesn't belong out. It doesn't belong here. It doesn't belong here. What part of the county are we going to disadvantage to move this somewhere else? The good news is, and maybe you don't know, is that we do have a second tower plant on the back half of that lot to put money on the tax rolls. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but we'd be happy to come and do a presentation, and Belinda is awesome and would answer all of your questions. Because it seems like the resolution has brought up questions that the county has answered. And perhaps the county hasn't done a good job. I'm on the campaign side, so perhaps the county hasn't done a good job in informing a sister body about all of the very difficult decisions that they've made and the long process they've gone through. I mean, you know, when I was reading the resolution, I wondered about the swap. What property is suggested? I'm curious. I see parks and cemeteries. I don't see land that you could actually afford to swap with the county.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Mayor
Van
Pro
Cleve.
Tem, I have a
Council
couple
Member
of
Houston.
questions. First of all, Ms. Van Cleve, thank you so much for coming today. It's nice to meet you. And on behalf of the citizens of District 1, I want to thank you for telling us what's best for us. This is not to move the courthouse to Walter E. Long Metropolitan Park, so that was a misgiving on your part. There is city land and county land in the district that has not been used. I understand that you are building a medical examiner's facility on part of the county land that's east of 290, that's kind of in the district, but in the area. I have reached out to Commissioner Davis. I didn't get a response, so I didn't know that I could reach out to you because I'm just meeting you today. The description of in the middle of nowhere is offensive to me because we have people who live there and do try to work and are citizens who work at the city and the county and the state. And so we don't see ourselves in the middle of nowhere, but we do see that when a courthouse or municipal building is built, that things go along with that don't go along with light industry. We have offices, law offices, other kinds of offices that do go with that. People have to have a place to eat, which we don't have at this point. So that would be another generation of people would have to build restaurants and other kinds of things for people to do. So my question is, how many parking spaces are projected for the building that you're going to...
513.
And how many staff in the county courthouse now?
Roughly 230, but I could be wrong about that. Now, keep in mind, the county has a project, much like the city does, that encourages folks that work downtown to take the bus. Right? Like, so you guys are doing a 20%, so are we. Well, we have done that. And in my work with Cheryl Cole as a candidate and Teddy McDaniel with the Urban League, I appreciate the need and understand the need for economic development in all parts of the county, but particularly in the Eastern Crescent. It is not the middle of nowhere. But transit-wise, Walter E. Long Park is not easy to get to, whether you're in a car or a bus.
We're not talking about a park. We're not talking about the park.
I'm just reading what's in the paper.
Well, we're not talking about the park. The park is dedicated parkland. We're talking about parcels of land in that area that could be used for a courthouse. So, and as the gentleman says, Capital Metro reroutes buses all the time. So that can be an opportunity to have some additional transit in the area that would get people from point A to point B quicker.
My question would be the cost.
Well, but the cost of, you're asking the taxpayers to cost $287.
$13.50 per $100,000 valuation of your home.
Well, but that's
to replace an 84-year-old building.
But that's easy for you to say because you make more money than most of the people in my area. So it does make a cost.
I'm not sure.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, you don't know how much I make.
Council Member, citizens, audience attendees, let's just make sure we keep and confine our comments to the resolution before us with regard to location. We need to steer clear of talking about the actual ballot proposal so that we're all in compliance.
And it's not on Walter E. Long Park.
Yes,
Okay.
I appreciate you clarifying that. I'm sorry, did I just say that again? I apologize, Councilmember Houston. I'm just trying to keep us away from the ballot proposition, and so I apologize if I misspoke. Councilmember Zimmerman, I think you had your hand up. Did you have a question for our speaker?
Just going back to the cost issue, so I'm not an expert in downtown investments and development projects, but I've been assured by several experts who work in this field that the cost of a building of comparable space could be built for 1/3 or even as much as 1/2 of what it costs to build downtown. The reason is that downtown is the most expensive place to